Going on YouTube, Globalbuzz here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be updating our Regulation H tier list. So what you see before you was our initial thoughts tier list. Checking the date here, this was made on August 20th, okay? As of today, right now, this is September 17th, so it's been pretty much a month since then. And again, a lot of this was just based off of 2 weeks of online tournament play before the format even started. Since then, the format has started, of course. We've had a lot more online tournaments, and we just finished our first regional from Baltimore. So now I think is a good time to update this stuff and see where exactly are we within the middle of the first month of the meta, right? So things are going to move up, things are going to move down. And I always like to do this because I get to have a good laugh and say, you know what, we got this right, or you know what, we got this completely wrong. And that's okay, because that is the beauty of a tier list. You get to make initial predictions, and things change based on how the meta progresses, right? So which is fine. Now we have up-to-date data, we can make the changes that we need. And I can safely say we did get some stuff right, but we also got some stuff very, very wrong. All right, no shame, no shame. All right, but just to redefine what exactly it is in terms of our tier list. So again, your S tier, what I call the best of the best. This is what I think falls within defining the meta, right? When you do your initial team building, right, one of the first questions you always ask yourself about your team is, do I have an answer to this? Do I have an answer to that? And if I don't, then I really, really need it, okay? If you're asking yourself those questions about these Pokemon, then you control and define the meta. You belong in the S tier. At the same time, this is also like your dominant staples, very splashable on a lot of different teams because they're very good at what they do. They do a lot of different things instead of just one thing, whether it be like support, whether it be like, healing yourself, redirection, fake out pressure, all those things, also like a big offensive threat. These are all things that are really, really strong amongst your options. So they go in the S tier. The A tier is just underneath it. So these are what I call the strong and consistent options. Out of 10 teams, you'll probably see this on at least 6 or 7 of them because they're quite good. They're centralizing on a lot of different archetypes, and they fulfill their job very, very nicely. Then we've taken the B tier and we've broken it up into 2 areas. We have the high B tier, then we have the lower B tier. Either way, these are all still solid options, but not as splashable or as good as your A tier. Maybe they have a hindering stat. Maybe their ability is just not as good as some of the stuff in the A tier. Typing, not as good. Maybe there's something in the A tier that can do the same job but better. Either way, that's what it is to be a B tier. You're a secondary option. Then as we go down here, then we have what we call the C tier, the niche tier. And again, that C tier does not mean bad, okay? It means that you are good at one job and one job only. And if you do things outside of that job, you're not good, okay? So you'll probably see a lot of this stuff on like one particular archetype, and it does very, very well there. But outside of that role, it doesn't shine. So can you win a tournament with C tier mons? Absolutely. And it is these Pokemon within this tier that make all the difference. I can make the difference between winning and losing, because a lot of these strong teams, they don't plan for niche options, right? So if you can have that right call at the right time, then that's going to separate yourself from potential mirrors. And then at the same time, it can carry you to victory because your opponent just doesn't have a game plan against that, right? Then after that, then we have a bunch of D tier options. And it stands for don't use because these are just not relevant in the meta. They have no data for it. There's no results backing them up. And because of that, we can't make any claims without any evidence, right? So all of this is data informed. So if your favorite Pokemon is in the D tier, it's not that we don't like it. It's because it doesn't have any relevance within the meta as of right now today, which is September 17th, okay? Doesn't mean it can't, because we're going to take some stuff from the D tier and actually move them up. And that is the beauty of Regulation H. That's, you think something's in the D tier, but then all of a sudden somebody finds a use for it and does really well in a tournament. And then all of a sudden we have to take it out of the don't use tier into something like either the C or the B tier. And that's good. That's what we want out of a competitive meta. Things that can rise without, due to unexpected results. Okay. But anyway, that's the explanation of our tiers. So we're going to move a lot of stuff down and a lot of stuff up too. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's talk about stuff that needs to move up first. Okay, so the one that we really missed on, but again, you can't blame me because again, we made this video in late August, right here, man. Woo! Oh my goodness, bro. Sneasler. This thing is taking the meta by quite the storm here. You saw it in the graphic in the Baltimore region. It's one of the top 12 used Pokemon here. But again, don't fault me for this. I said this list was made back in August 20th. Okay, nobody was using this thing on August 20th and prior words. Okay, it was only until like a couple weeks ago where people finally saw Sneaser's value, and it takes time, right? So it doesn't mean that it started off bad. It just means it just needed some time to explore. Of course, there's always going to be that one guy in the comments that says, I was using it. I was using it in August. But where was the data? Okay, so that's my argument there. And again, so like one of the fastest Pokemon you're gonna have in the meta. Strong Fake Out with close combat, of course. Poison coverage against Primarina is important. Poison coverage against Rillaboom is also important. Dire Claw is busted. Dire Claw can make the difference between winning a round and losing it. If you get off that one key sleep, okay, and that sleep ends up being 3 turns, that is a huge difference maker. Okay, so Dire Claw, kind of funny mechanic. And then of course you have the Unburden stuff where you can just outspeed everything even if you don't have any Tailwind on your team. So Grassy Seeds, Psychic Seeds, all things that Sneasler, even the White Herb, Sneasler can definitely make use of that, especially after clicking close combat. So it's a strong fighting type into the Arkeladon matchup. It's also pretty good against Terrasteel Goldango, of course Hydreigon, King Gambit. Sneasler has excellent value, even Tyranitar, right? If it doesn't Terra. Porygon, Incin, fighting type is strong right now, and Sneasler at the top of the list right now, so that definitely needed to move up. Is there anything here in the A tier that needs to move up? Yes, okay. So I actually want to talk about 2 things, and they're both within the same idea. So I have Arkeladon here in the A tier, and then at the time I also had Dondozo in the S tier. Okay, let me say something about this. There's a difference between the S tier and the A tier. Okay, just like in professional sports, where there's a difference between your superstars and your stars. Okay, when teams game plan for you, they're not game planning for the stars. They acknowledge the stars are good, but they're not game planning for them. The game plan centers around the superstars. Okay, so when you do your team building, okay, are you asking yourself, does my team have something for Dondozo? Does my team have something for Arkeladon? Does my team have something for Psyspam? You're asking these questions when you're doing your team building. That means the meta centralizes around you, okay? Regardless if you have the checks or not. If you have the checks, you have it for a reason, which means you respect it, okay? But we're not asking you do you have something for Dragonite? We're not asking you if you have something for Tyranitar. What does my team do against Hydreigon? What does my team do to Volcarona? What does my team do to Sneasler? You don't ask yourself those questions, right? You ask yourself for Arkeladon, Dondozo stuff, right? So that's the difference between the S tier and the A tier, your superstars and your stars. And by that logic, and I'm looking at the results from Baltimore, there were 8 Dondozo teams in day 2, okay? There were even more day 2 teams for Arkeladon. So for that reason, and it was even the winning team, I gotta put Arkeladon in the S tier, okay? I think it's only fair, right? If anything, Arkeladon has better results than Dondozo. And if I had to really break up the S tier into 2 tiers, I would put Arkeladon in the high S tier and then Dondozo in lower S tier. But the fact that you command the meta so much that you need to respect these options in your team building, one of the first questions, you have to be in the S tier, okay? So I just want to get that straight right away, right then and there. Let me know if you agree with that statement. There's a difference between your superstars and your stars, okay? Anyway, moving forward, anything else that needs to move up? As far as like the A tier, I think this is fine. I don't think I need to put anything here into the S tier except for that Arkeladon. I think that's okay. How about the B tier? Is there anything that can move up? Yes, I think there is. I think Dragapult has earned its placement in the A tier. I think this, along with Sneasler, has been very strong as of late. It's within, also even like with Tyranitar too, right? So I do like Dragapult. You're the fastest thing in the meta. A lot of teams do their speed tiers around you. There's a reason why 214 is a magic number in competitive play. If people memorize your speed tier, it means you matter, okay? And for that reason, based on recent performances also, I think I can put Dragapult safely into the A tier. The results back that up tremendously. How about no? I think Combo is exactly where it needs to be. I think it's very solid on those Ursaluna teams, and we saw that in Baltimore. We've seen that in online play. That this is also one of our rentals. I think the Clangor's Soul Clanging scale set is still very good. I even think the Iron Defense body press set might be a little bit better because you're going for stab body presses versus things that are going for body press that are not stab, hence Arkeladon. So for that logic, I still think it's in the high B tier. It's very, very good. Salamence, I think also this is where it needs to be. Very strong on the rain teams, right? With Arkeladon and Pelipper. It gives you speed control with Tailwind. I think this is exactly where it needs to be. You could even make the argument for low A tier, but I think high B tier is correct. Both Clefairy and Clefable, I think that's okay. Just Unaware is really good. And then at the same time, Friendguard is really good. So both have redirection support. And for that reason, I think they stay in the B tier. Ninetales, we just saw this from Paul Chua's team. Even though there were no screens, I think having weather control is always going to be important. So I don't think it's as good as Tyranitar or Pelipper, but I do think with that speed tier that it has, the fact that you can outspeed a lot of those based on hundreds, you can outspeed stuff like Garchomp for that matter. I think there is a place for it. It's a fast Encore user. I think Freeze Dry is very good into a lot of these Pokemon, right? Pelipper goes smack, Primarina goes smack. Hydreigon, all the dragons, they don't like any of the fairy or ice moves that Ninetales has. So I think high B tier is correct here. I think, all right, so some stuff we're going to move down eventually, but I think in terms of moving up, I think this is exactly where things have to be. All right, I don't think we move anything up after that. All right, B minus here. So I think Hisuian Typhlosion definitely should move up a little bit. It's still quite good with the Whimsicott Tailwind stuff. Of course, Eruption is very strong, very aggressive. And maybe it has some competition now with Delphox, but we'll have to wait and see. It's only been like 24 hours, so we'll see if Hisuian Typhlosion can maintain this high B tier slot. But again, it does have pressure against King Gambit with Sucker Punch. Other dark types also like Hydreigon can kind of pressure it a little bit. It outspeeds it too. So for that reason, we will keep it at bay. I don't think it's A tier just yet. I think we still keep it in B tier. I think that's where it needs to belong here. All right, Meowscarada, I still think that's in a good spot here. Just having that dark type coverage, strong grass move into Dondozo, you just crit through those defenses is good. You've got Trick Room on yourself, and I think that's fine. Anything else here? No, I think in terms of moving up, no. I think that's fine. We're gonna move a lot of stuff down here, actually. All right, again, initial thoughts. How about anything in the C tier? Does anything here in the C tier move up? I definitely think Gengar definitely moves up here. We saw a couple day 2 Gengar teams. This thing has won some online tournaments over the past month. High placements overall. Again, if you look at Gengar stats, just looking at it and the toolkit that it can give you. First of all, you've got Sludge Bomb, which is strong. Base 130 Sludge Bomb into Rillaboom, into Primarina is quite good. Then the Shadow Ball into stuff like Goldango is quite strong. Into other ghost types is also good. And then, of course, the Magic Haze for the Dondozo, wiping away those buffs. At the same time, again, fast Haze users is always going to be very much appreciated. I think Gengar definitely has earned its slot above the C tier, and we can definitely push this into the higher B tier. I think it's quite good. I wanted to build with Gengar for a bit. Maybe I'll get my chance now since the Baltimore Regionals is over. So yeah, I think Gengar definitely moves up here. And what else is it here in the C tier? Can I move? Oh yeah, here we go. Electabuzz. Ooh, this is one of the best follow me users. I think it's like the second best follow me user that we have. I'm gonna put this also in the high B tier. Again, just looking at Electabuzz here. I'll just give you like our very common EV spread here. You could make this super bulky, but have enough speed where you still outspeed timid Pelipper, and then you can go for the Electro Web. So this way it can't go for its Tailwind and potentially KO it, because again, you get to break its sash, you do 4 times super effective damage. I don't think it even lives, but yeah, you have that option for you. You give your speed control to your Sneasels, your Dragapults for that matter. And again, the Eviolite makes it super bulky, but the Vital Spirit having immunity to Amoonguss is huge without having to commit the Grass Terra is very important. So I think for that reason, you can definitely put Electabuzz in the higher B tier. It has strong performances, great with King Gambit, by the way. So a very easy EV spread would just be something like this, where you can go something like Bold Nature, right? So to give this thing a little bit more physical bulk. And the way it works is just like this. Let's put it to the bump here. Yeah, 110 there. And then this one, the leftover. So now look at this. Your defense and your special defense are both sitting at 110. Nice, solid, even numbers. You're getting the best bang for your buck with the Eviolite. You outspeed the Pelipper, and you have max HP. Great, standard, solid EV spread with Electabuzz. And again, it's proven its worth in the tours as of late. So I think high B tier definitely is important here. After this, okay, so we've got Snorlax, Politoed, Jumpluff, Kingdra. So are any of these making it out of the C tier? I think not. I think they fulfill their role on their respective teams. I can't see them outside of certain teams, right? I can't see myself, with Politoed. So here's the thing with Politoed versus Pelipper. The one thing that Politoed can do that Pelipper cannot is a couple things. One, you've got Haze, and two, you've got Perish Song, which is quite important here. And like I said, you have the Drizzle here. So for that reason, I think there's always going to be a niche for Politoed, and it has had some results in some tournaments. But just not all that much. So I think it still stays in the C tier. I still think Pelipper overall is a better option. But I have seen Politoed on some of those hyper-offensive side spam teams, especially, just really good against the Dondozo stuff. You need a Haze user, and Parasong can also give you that option. Kingdra, same thing. I can't see this thing outside of Rain. Blaziken, we did see a couple Blaziken teams in Baltimore, but again, very specific. For Blaziken. Again, it's a good fighting type now with speed boost. We talked about this in our last two videos, right? So with Blaziken, speed boost, again, you get to protect turn one. You get to outspeed a lot of different things afterwards. And then you always have the stab close combat into the Archeladon, into other dark types. So there is merit there, but, there are other strong fire types that can one-up the Blaziken too. So I still keep it in C tier. I don't think I can push it into the B tier just yet, because outside of a couple of squads, I don't know if this is going to see a little bit more play. Maybe it might. Who knows? Everything here, I think, stays where they are. I don't think I move anything up from these guys. We saw Empoleon at Baltimore, too, with the Water Pledge stuff, so that's cool. Toxicroak has seen a couple of play, but again, not a whole lot there. Hisuian Samurott, I think people are starting to use it a little bit more now. I think putting it in the low B tier is correct. People are looking for, water types besides Primarina to do other things, and I think Samurott can do that. It's a dark type that you can send in front of Side Spam. You have access to Sharpness Sacred Sword, which is great into, the steel types and also Dondozo, because you can chip it for big chunks of damage. Archeladon also is not going to want to take Sharpness Sacred Sword. So I do think Hisuian Samurott is going to rise a little bit. I'm going to put it in low B tier. I'm not so sure after that. After this, Crocodile still stays where it is. Scrafty, same thing. Yeah, a lot of these. Again, we were hopeful for a lot, but they just haven't really done anything. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move a lot of them down. But we'll do that when we talked about things moving down. Okay, then we can really centralize this stuff. But again, we're looking at things moving up first. Okay, how about this one? I just saw it. Here we go. The male Indeedee. Yeah, so this one is also rising as of late, especially on those hyper offensive fast side spam teams. So again, just looking at a set with the male Indeedee, this is also being used with like the Delphox stuff. So you have Expanding Force, and then you have Imprison, and then you have Trick Room, right? So this is doing two things. One, it's denying Expanding Force from Hatterene and Armarouge. Two, you get to imprison Trick Room at the same time in front of those side spam teams. So that's really good. And that's the best value that you're getting out of Indeedee. And three, you also get your own Psychic Terrain if you need to, which is great for your own Hisuian Typhlosion, okay, as well as your own Delphox or whatnot. So I do think the male Indeedee is going to rise a little bit more now. And I think low B tier is correct for where we want it. All right, after that, Cerulege. Yes, I also think Cerulege can rise up a little bit into the B tier. Again, just looking at what it's supposed to do, Cerulege with Flash Fire, is quite good. And then you have the bulk up set, so you can even consider that. Some people have run either Clear Amulet or Grassy Seed with the Rillaboom stuff. I think those are good options. Again, just having a ton of bulk here, and then just doing so much chip damage with Bitter Blade, and then the Ghost move into the Goldango stuff. I think Scarlet has at least merited a low B tier slot for those reasons. And the results back it up too. All right, after that, all these guys, all right, there was that Sicilian Sand team with Garchomp, Tyranitar, along with the tail and stuff. So there was that. So not bad, but outside of that, you know what? Actually, I'm going to keep that in the C tier. I still think outside of that team, I'm not really seeing it. So I'm going to keep it exactly where it is. I guess I'll put it in like the higher C tier, but you know, still then. Rapska just used Palmot. All right, the Espathra, again, of course, we did see this at Baltimore. And it played a role, right? It played a role on that team. But besides that kind of team where you're just clicking like Acid Sprays and Lumina Crashes to weaken things for your other special attackers to do tons more damage, I don't see this thing outside of that. So it's playing its job, which means it's a niche Pokemon. Doing its job great, but outside of that, I don't think it's splashable like some of the other A or high B tier options. I'm keeping it in the C tier. Yeah, all of these guys, again, we're going to move some stuff down pretty soon. That's going to be the bigger thing. So let's go into the don't use tier. All right, so now let's look at something. All right, how about this one? So we did see Quavel also play a role from Blake Silver's Rain team. Again, a strong water type that has fighting coverage because, again, you are water fighting type. That's not Urshifu. You're going to do well into Arkeladon and the dark types and some steel types. You're going to do more damage in the rain. You have a speed boosting ability, a speed boosting move, which lets you outspeed other things. I think that merits a niche tier slot for sure. After this, anything down here? No. Okay, no Pikachu. I'm sorry. After this, let's see. Okay, Hypno. All right, yeah, I guess we can definitely put this in the C tier. Hypno's kind of funny in what it's supposed to do. We did see this in Baltimore, but again, just looking at what Hypno provides, there's not anything else that can really do this. So look at this. So you have Insomnia. So kind of like the Buzz, you don't get to fall asleep. Okay. Then you get Expanding Force. Okay. Then you have Imprison. Okay. And then you can still do like the Imprison Trick Room stuff. And unlike the Indeedee, this thing gets Haze too. Look at this. You've got your Dondozo stuff. You got your Side Spam check. You got your Amoonguss check all in the same Pokemon. Who else can do this? Okay, what a job that Hypno can do, and there's no one like him. So I definitely put him in the C tier. I don't know if people are gonna find like more use out of him later on, but definitely it's doing its job. So C tier for sure. After this, where else? Am I touching anything down here in terms of moving up? No. All right. All right. The Bull Beat stuff. Okay. Yes, you get the prankster shenanigans. I guess I have to respect it. It did do well at Baltimore. I don't know where the other one went. I think I missed it. There's just too many things. Oh, here we are. I don't know. Maybe in the lower C tier than the other one, but okay, sure. No, I'm going to keep Altaria there. That's the regular Samurott. We don't need him. Pachirisu. Okay. After this, is there... that's the regular Zoroark. Did I have the Hisuian up here somewhere, right? Yeah, okay. So we'll talk more about that one. Here we go. These two definitely got to move up. All right, Delphox. Is Delphox good? I'm not sure, but at the moment, I want to put it in the low B tier. Maybe it might creep into the solid. We'll have to see. And same now, also Greninja. I will also put it in the C tier. And I guess I can talk about both. So, you know, we've mentioned Delphox in our last two videos. Not team building. But look at what Delphox can do. So first I'll put the Life Orb here. So here we go. Expanding Force, a fast Expanding Force user, right? Base 104 speed, you outspeed Garchomp. That's important, okay? The fact that you can do that first makes a huge difference. Then you have the Terra Blast, Terra Fighting idea. So now against the Dark types, you can hit him for super effective damage, of course. Because this is the one thing that Hatterene cannot do. I mean, I guess it could, but it usually prefers like other Terras. And then because you're naturally a fire type, you don't have to go Terra Fire to resist the Goldengo Make It Rains. You already have that. And then at the same time, you can just go for Heat Wave. So Hatterene can't do this either. Okay, so this gives you the edge over the Hatterene. You get to outspeed some of these dark type threats, as well as the steel types, and hit them hard for super effective damage, and still provide expanding force spam, right? Base 114 special attack is still very, very strong. So nice to see a little bit more usage of Delphox after Baltimore. But this thing was always, was already rising heading into Baltimore, right? I just wanted to see what it would do at Baltimore before I could move this thing up. And now that we have the data, we can safely assume that it definitely can rise a little bit. All right, after that, anything else down here from the D tier that I can potentially move up here? No. All right, there was Cinderace. All right, I guess the choice band set. All right, with Libro, I guess it's okay. Kind of like Meowscarada, but maybe not as good. Okay, anything here? Squawkability. Oh, okay, 2 Pokemon here, actually. All right, Mr. Wolfglick's Toedscruel. Yes, okay, so again, a lot of people are hyping up right now, well, because he already released it, the Toedscruel, Galarian Weezing stuff. Yeah, again, it makes sense. So Mycelium might not great, so you just use the Weezing to take away that ability, you know, because of neutralizing gas. I get it, I understand it. The fast Spore stuff, you know, and you get Rage Powder access, you get Earth Power for the Steel types, and, you know, for the other Fire types in general. I understand it, okay? But outside of that kind of team, I don't know where else I can really use it. So maybe someone else can do a little bit more theory crafting, but just like in terms of initial planning, I don't know. I still think it's very specific. I still think things like, you know, like Rillaboom, Amoonguss are going to be like better grass type options overall. I think Toedscruel was just very specific. It was like almost like a little meta call with the Weezing for the tournament. But again, just as a singular whole mon, I think C tier is correct for the Toedscruel. That being said, where did I saw it here, and then all right, Braviary again has proved me wrong. I do think it belongs in the low B tier. So we've seen this on those Tyranitar Excadrill teams, right? So imagine the team that I had, but not Dragonite, but instead Braviary. And that was the team that was getting results. So Excadrill, Tyranitar, okay, and then you had the Braviary, a Defiant user, okay, where is that thing, right? And then it rounded out with the Fire Water Grass stuff with Primarina, Volcarona, and the Sinisha. This is the team, okay? Again, we had Dragonite here, but look what this allows you to do with Defiant. First, you still keep the Assault Vest on the T-Tar, but at the same time, you don't have to go Clear Amulet on the Excadrill anymore, because Clear Amulet doesn't give you a damage boost unlike Life Orb, and you miss KOs there. But now with Life Orb, you're getting more damage, and you are susceptible to Intimidate now. But if they're going to do that, they're going to give the Braviary a Defiant boost. And now you have a strong Brave Bird. Now you have an even stronger Close Combat, and you still get Tailwind for your team. So now you have the fast speed control on your team, besides the Sinistcha giving you Trick Root, right? So and you have some immunity to Goldengo because you're a normal type, and the same thing with Dragapult, the Ghost move, you can still kind of sit in front of it. So Braviary having good use, definitely merits a B tier slot, and I think it should stay that way moving forward. But we'll see. Okay, after this, I can't see myself moving anything up here, and based on, again, data and results only, not because I think this could be good. It could be, but we need more information moving forward. Oh, okay. How about the Scyther? Yeah, all right. I mean, niche tier. I mean, listen, shout outs to VGC, okay? This guy comes up with some crazy teams. I've seen his stuff since like Regulation A. Whenever he decides to go to a regional, he brings like some crazy team, you know, with like Tinkaton and whatnot. But shout outs to them for coming up with something like this. But here's the idea with what they were using with Scyther. So it's Technician, of course, with Eviolite, because you have an evolution on Scyther now. So now you can make this super bulky. And then what ends up happening is you get speed control with Tailwind. Now you also get Stab, Dual Wing Beat. And then at the same time, it's going to do a lot of damage because you get to boost it with Technician and a Stab, right? And then, of course, Thief, you get to yeet it. And then from here, you just have Protector. So now you can deal decent damage, and you have bulk on your team with some speed control, which is quite nice. So Scyther does have a niche. on VJ Suit's team. Hence, I can put it in the C tier. You can definitely use this thing on some teams, but I still think you can find better options for Tailwind if you really need it, or it's like some other bulky bug types there. Okay. All right. Anything else? Do I think anything else can move up? Let me look at the C tier one more time. Let me see if I can really boost anything without like being too generous. And again, I'm trying to be as critical as I can here. All right. I think we got our C tier right. So we moved enough things up. So now let's start moving things down. Okay, so I am confident that I definitely did miss a few, but if we find them, we'll talk about them. But let's talk about things potentially moving down. So I think the meta is controlled by these two. I think Rillaboom and Goldengo are still running two right now. That hasn't changed. Among Us also still within top 12 usage, top 6 if anything. I think that is also okay. Now, one of the questions people are asking right now is Incineroar, despite its drop in usage, is it still the S tier mon that it is? So technically, yes. Okay. The only thing is that you're not getting as much value from Incineroar as you normally would because power creep is down. That doesn't mean Incineroar got worse. It means the format got worse. Well, I shouldn't say that. It just means the power creep went down. So I don't really need to mitigate so much damage from some of this stuff, right? As opposed to like the big legends. So not as much value from Incineroar as in the past, but still top 5 usage. Was on the final 2 teams at Baltimore, right? So that counts as Incineroar still winning another regional. And for that reason, I will always respect the kitty. Okay, I'm gonna keep it in the S tier. I think it's good, and I still think it is as good as it was. Okay, the format may be different, but Parting Shot is good, Fake Out is good, Bulk is good, even some of its offensive sets are good, and at the same time, I think it's always going to find its place within the S tier no matter what. Can you make the argument and put this in the A? Absolutely. But for us, from what we've seen, I would put it in low S, but I still think it is S. I will never doubt the kitty, never. After this, Volcarona, Pelipper, yeah, these guys are definitely A tier still. Mousehold, I can even keep here. Same with Annihilate, maybe even move the Annihilate down a little bit, but I still think it's also very strong. All things considered. Dragonite had a great showcase in Baltimore. I know just overall as of late. Tyranitar, Porygon, of course, Ursaluna. These guys are all within A tier still. Same with Talonflame. Basculegion, still good. King Gambit, if anything, it could be like higher A tier. I'm not really ordering these. I'm just, just talking about it as I go. All right, back Scalper, I guess we can move down. Listen, we made that good backs balance team towards the end of August, and it did well in the tournament. It got top 16 in that 100+ tour, but our 15 minutes of backs fame is about gone. I don't think it's. I still think it's good. I don't think it's A tier good. Let's move it down. I think I'm a little hopeful. I still think backs can get the job done in some shape or form. I'm gonna keep it in low high B tier if that makes sense, right? I'm gonna drop the backs. After that. Let's look here in the B tier. What else? Palafin. I can also think. I think I can drop this into the lower B tier. I haven't seen it as much as opposed to like the start of the format. You still get Haze, of course. You still have priority jet punches and wave crashes. It's just not being used as opposed to stuff like Primarina and Pelipper. Even Gastrodon, I would even argue, is a little bit better. But it depends on the team, of course. I still think it's quite good, but I don't think it's like high B tier or even A tier good. I think low B is actually correct here. Serena, Hatterene, yeah, these are all okay. All right, I guess I can drop Sneasel. This is very relatively niche. Outside of the Alolan Muck stuff, I haven't really seen this. Excadrill, I think stays. It's okay. Tyranitar does not need Excadrill this format. It's nice, but I don't think you need it. The Tauros, both of these are also okay in the same spot. You get Intimidate, of course. But at the same time, Close Combat is also very, very good. I think the Water one is a little bit better. So I'm going to keep it there. I think I can put Azumarill into the C tier as well. I was a little hopeful, right? Another Water Fairy type, just like Primarina, but it's too slow for what we needed to do. I think the Belly Drum setup, not as great. I think I need a little bit more offense. Yes, I guess there's huge power and whatnot, but I think there's better options for our Water types here. Decidueye, I think I'll keep it here. I still think I should drop this into the C tier, but it's okay. Again, you can hit ghost types. Like the better Scrappy user is this thing. Yeah, I guess I can kind of. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna switch places. I think this guy should be in the B tier, and I'll drop the Decidueye into the C tier. I think Amoonguss and Rillaboom are still outclassing it, despite Decidueye being better this format. I don't think it moves out of C tier anytime soon. I still think it's okay. But this one, remember Flamigo. Okay, so here's the thing with Flamigo. We've seen this already in the tours. That Instant Amoonguss P2 team, right? Instant Amoonguss, Porygon, the Ursaluna stuff. Let me put in right here. And then the Goldango, right? This was the difference maker. We like Kamo here, but Flamingo had an excellent showing. It's nice to see people use this thing outside of the Dondozo stuff with Co-Star. That was just annoying. But look at this. Again, you get to hit ghost types. Yeah, and then you're immune to Intimidate, which is really, really good. You have a decent attack stat, 115, not too bad. Base speed, 90 mon, that's not bad either. So, and then you at the same time, you get access to Wide Guard, you get access to Quick Guard. So, nice support set that you can do. You can do, and then of course the close combat stuff, and then of course the Priority Brave Bird at the same time. So this is like Braviary set, but a little bit different, right? Of course, and then you have like the Protect stuff. But again, I think we should definitely switch its places, and that's exactly what we're doing. So yeah. All right. After this, where else can I go with the team? Can I move Sylveon here? Yes. I know that's not too bad. I think low B tier is okay. I think we can move that down safely. All things considered here. Moving forward, what else can I do in terms of like this B tier slot? So Indeedee, that's good. Grimmsnarl, also okay. Salamence, again, still fine. I'm not moving that down. Okay, the Hisuian Arcanine, I can move down a little bit. I think low B tier is okay. You know, it's a decent Intimidator. It's aggressive, but I have some better options. Same thing with Gyarados. Oh man, I was really hopeful for Gyarados, right? I think niche tier is okay. I think, again, Thunder Wave is really good. Taunt is really good. Waterfall, decent chip damage. People will find use of Gyarados. It's not bad with Garchomp too, right? So I think that is also at the same time okay. Speaking of Garchomp, I did put in B+. I think that's correct. I think alongside with Kamo, you can even almost put in the A tier. That's okay. Murkrow, also pretty good. Haze user, Tailwind support. You get weather control with Rain Dance, Sunny Day. I think the B is also quite solid here. Same thing with Armorage. Armorage didn't really... to me, I don't think it went down and I don't think it went up, even despite the fact that Delphox may take its place at some point. But as of right now, I think the high B is correct here. Lycanroc, I'm going to move this down a little bit. Haven't really seen so much impact from these Lycanroc teams. If anything, Glamour is the better rock type with Tyranitar as opposed to the fast Lycanroc stuff. Palmot stays, Corviknight stays. We moved Typhlosion up. Garganacl should be used more. I think it could definitely be in the high B tier if people gave it a little bit more of a chance. Sinistra is also pretty good. Trick Room user, redirection support, life dew healing, hospitality. We've seen this on the Hydreigon Rain team stuff, like Arvental. We've seen this with Sand and Tyranitar and Dragonite. And Braviary stuff, I think this is also okay. All right. Yeah, I don't think I move anything down from the A tier. I think that's good. Same thing over here. I think now we're okay in terms of our B tier. What about all of this stuff? Anything else that may move down? Gastronauts, you know, I think it's still... Yeah, no, I think low B tier is correct. I want to put it in the C tier, but I think it's a little bit better than Gyarados and the Araquanid in my opinion. Milotic, same thing. I don't know. I think it's also niche tier. Hasn't really done anything. There was that one tournament where it did really well online, and you know the Scald Hypnosis set, the Coil stuff. Okay, sure, it's a little too slow for me. I think niche is correct. The Chandelure also is pretty good. I think Chandelure with Flash Fire, Shadow Ball, and then Trick Room at the same time is quite good. I just want to check something on the Chandelure. I spelled Chandelure wrong. Save me. Does it get what I think it? Yes, I have seen this also. Chandelure also gets Haze besides the Trick Room stuff, and then you have access to You know, again, Flash Fire, base speed 80, not too bad either. I think low B tier is correct with the Chandelure. I think that it makes a lot of sense there. Gothitelle, again, I've seen this on, you know, pre-Marina Perish Trap teams. I think that's very niche. So we'll bump that down to the C tier, methinks. Dusclops, same thing. I think it could be good, but there's better Trick Room setters. I think Porygon's just a better Eviolite Trick Room setter in my opinion. Bronzong, same thing. You know, I was hopeful for Bronzong. Bronzong will always, you know, find its way at some point. It's a good Pokemon. It's very bulky. You get Trick Room Iron Defense stuff, but there's better Iron Defense users than a Bronzong, of course. I think the Zoroark, I think we can put this in higher B tier. Yeah, I think I want to. Choice Specs doing tons of damage. The mind games with Illusion is killing people. Okay, so for that reason, I think we can definitely put it a little bit higher, but no higher than high B tier. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's an A tier slot. Man, what made me put Kilowattrel here? I want to know. I need to rewatch my own video and then figure out why did I put this thing in the B tier. I don't think it's bad. I just haven't really seen it. Yeah, man, I think we can put this here in the don't use tier. There's way better Tailwind users than this thing. Just use Talonflame, guys. Okay, Skeledirge. Yes, I understand the unaware stuff, but I still think that's niche. I think if you really wanted unaware, you can probably just use Clefable here. So after that, this is what we're left with, the low B tier. Oh, we skipped Mamoswine. Yeah, that's niche. Yeah, I think this is pretty good here. Yeah, the Overcool, absolutely, you know, quick, Swift Swim, adaptability, I think low is correct. I think Basculegion is just a little bit better if you really want, or you can run both. But yeah, here's the high B tier, here's the low B tier. I think this is pretty solid. All right, niche tier. Did I miss anything here in terms of moving down? Yes, I think so. Let's see. Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about Greninja. I moved it, but I forgot to discuss it. So Greninja is a dark type, which has some value in front of Psy Spam, and it also gets haze. I feel like if you're a haze user, you're gonna find some niche in the meta. But the difference is that this is not only a haze user, it is a dark type, which is great. Water Shuriken with the bullet seed stuff, not the bullet seed. The loaded dice is quite strong, so I think it's not bad. It's also very fast. 122 speed tier, by the way. That's impressive. That outspeeds a lot of the other stuff, not named Talonflame, so that's pretty cool. And because of that, I think we can definitely put that in the C tier slot. Absolutely. Anything else that might drop down here? Charizard and Venusaur, they've had a couple results. I guess I'll keep them in there. Blastoise, same. All right, I haven't seen this thing used. Raichu, we can move that down. Again, the Swampert, this isn't Reg G. We don't need your Wide Guard per se. I have better Wide Guard users. Both Weezings, I think it's correct. C tier. They're doing their job with neutralizing gas and shutting things down. I think that's fine. Slacking relies on Weezing. For that reason, it stays in the C tier. I don't think people are using Ditto. Snorlax can stay. Breloom and Chestnut, absolutely. Grass fighting types are good. Other than that, what is all this? Okay. I've seen Bastiodon. I've seen even this thing, the Driplim. I haven't seen people use this one, Hippowdon. This is not singles. We had that one Porygon Z winning a tournament there. I haven't seen too much Rotom usage. There's been a little bit on some of the stand teams, but not all that much. But other than that, yeah, a lot of this stuff I've seen in tours, like they can top cut, but there haven't been, but no more than that. So, you know, I'll keep the Braviary. I've seen this stuff on the Psy Spam. People are using this with Sand as well. You know, Foul Play, Tailwind stuff, a Dark type. I don't think anyone's using Meowstic. Let's put that down there. Toxapex, same thing. Nobody's using that. Mudsdale, Comfey. I'm a little more hopeful on these guys. I think Mudsdale, you know, with the stamina body press stuff, just like Arkeladon, can do something. I just think it's worse. I think Arkeladon just always beats it, but yeah. This thing denies priority, which is pretty good. I don't think nobody's using this one. I think Basculegion is just the better one. We have seen some Frostmoth results. Again, Wide Guard user, Bug Buzz, Tailwind support, has had some results there. Rabska, okay, Scovillain. Okay, I'll leave it there. I don't. you know, I did see it like once or twice, but what is the reason? You know what? I'm gonna just drop it there. I don't care what you guys say, bro. Art Believer here. Man, has this thing done anything in this regulation yet? I don't know. Let's put that there. These guys, yeah, they're okay. Mablestiff, you are a dark type. You do get Intimidate, so sure, but nah, bro, just use Incineroar at that point. The Apple Dragon has had some tour results on some of those Trick Room teams. Okay, some pretty decent stats, by the way, and the speed tier is good. I just think more people need to try and explore it more, and when it has had results, so I think it's okay. Cyclizar, I don't think people need this thing. And then I mean, this one, I can't even remember that name anymore. Not the Obama Snow. Said Titan, Houndstone, same thing. Yeah, a lot of things are moving down to this don't use tier. We're really solidifying our list here until things change over time. But yeah, I think this is overall, I think a lot of this stuff has had at least one tour result. So I want to keep it like that. I don't know about Vikavolt. I think it could be good, but I just haven't really seen people really use it. I've seen people use the other Guts user. What's this thing called? Oh my goodness, the name escapes me. It's not Machamp, of course. Conkeldurr, yeah, that's what it is. But in my opinion, you just use Ursaluna, right? But anyway, I think this is pretty good out of our C tier. Let's look down here, see if we can find some other stuff that can move up. I think I missed a couple for sure, but let's just check. No Electrode, no Primeape here. Arbok, Pikachu. You know, this was interesting. For Alligator, regular Typhlosion. No. Oh, Espeon. Oh, yeah. So another one where Espeon can have some niche was, I have seen this as like a fast expanding force user, but I think more people are just going to be using Delphox now. But hey, at least it did have a couple of shining moments, I would say. Where else do I want to go from here? Has anything else done anything here? Did I miss any of these? Some of these Pokemon I can't remember the name of because did I have Vivillon? Did I have Vivillon in the C tier? Did I miss it? Yeah, I think I did. Holy smokes. Yeah, Vivillon. Hold on. Again, we talked about this in our other video. But Vivillon had some Baltimore results. Listen, Compound Eyes is a great ability. Adding to your accuracy is important. Think about it. Sleep Powder, Hurricane. Okay, those were like the mainstays. Yeah, again, just having that in your arsenal is quite good. And for that reason, again, you can just add a Focus Sash set here. I think C tier is at least appropriate for something like Vivillon, for sure. After this, yeah, I don't think anybody's using any of these mods. I think we're keeping it as it is. All right, so let's go ahead and let's finalize our tier list and look at it as a whole. Okay, so we moved some stuff out of the C tier into the D tier after overlooking it off camera. So we're just gonna move Beartic, Squawkabilly, Bellebolt, Dugong, all right, Clodsire, you know, and Superior. I think we also just also move Kilowattrel down into the D tier. They just haven't had any results. You know, in theory they could have a role, but you know, if that role these other options can do, and then they can offer a little bit more. So for that reason, you don't need to use them. They haven't proven their worth yet. But again, this is Regulation H, Wild Wild West. Anything can happen. People will find a use out of something. Okay, so I'll leave them there now, but we'll see where we are in about a month from now. But other than that, again, just looking at where we are in terms of the meta, I think, you know, stuff like this is very accurate. Like, can you have something against Arkeladon? Can you do something into Donozo? Do you have something into the Psy Spam? Those are like three things where if you can say yes to at least one of them, you're going to have use, at least within the C tier, without a doubt. Then at the same time, are you a strong attacker? Can you have a team built around you? Are you a very strong component on a lot of different teams? Are you splashable? That's also going to matter. That's going to bump you from the B into the A's and the S, even to like the low S tiers, right? So that being said, I still think there's a lot more room for C tiers later on. But all of these have had at least one job and have done that job well enough where they were able to at least help their teams take a result at least once, whether it was either in Baltimore or at least some online tour in recent play. Okay, so let me know what you think of our list right now as of today, September 17th. Did we get the movements, right, in terms of moving things up or down since August 20th. Let me know in the comments below. And from here, we'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.